Water is the lifeblood of civilization, and in arid locations, the challenge of preserving a fresh, renewable water supply can be daunting. As the population of Arizona increases, this task becomes an even greater challenge. As demand for fresh water increases, so does the stress on our renewable water supply. It's evident that reclaimed water and other sustainable methods are more important now than ever. As you will learn, Tucson depends heavily on the Colorado River to satisfy water requirements. 25 to 30 million people in the Southwest use this water supply. Join us now as we explore the future of our most fundamental of all resources. Our work is sponsored by the Water Sustainability Program of the Technology Research Initiative Fund. To understand Arizona's water-related challenges, we must first understand where and how the city of Tucson actually obtains its water. Much of the water you drink and use originates from the Colorado River, which is divided among 7 western states and Mexico. Among the 7 states depending on the Colorado, Arizona is allocated 2.8 million acre-feet per year, which is 17% of what was once thought to be the average annual flow in the river. Colorado River water reaches Tucson via the Central Arizona Project Canal. About 60% of the water used in Tucson comes from the Colorado River. The Colorado River Basin has experienced a sustained period of drought. Many water experts feel that, in fact, the Colorado River is over-allocated.
It was divided among 7 states, and it was divided based on a relatively short hydrologic record that people now think may have overestimated the amount of water in the Colorado. So that when all those states use their full allotments, it's conceivable there isn't going to be enough water to go around.
The health of the Colorado is best illustrated by the water stored in Lakes Powell and Meade. These reservoirs provide 90% of the storage capacity on the river. In 2010, they were only about half full. If Lake Meade reaches a critical level, then Arizona is required to reduce its use of Colorado River water.
There will likely be additional water supplies that will be needed in the future, but right now the focus is on trying to understand how to get the most out of existing water supplies.
Multiple strategies are currently used to satisfy water demand. These include community-wide conservation efforts, water harvesting, and reclaimed water use. In fact, Tucson already uses about 1/5 of its treated wastewater for irrigation purposes. Nonetheless, plans call for expanded use of reclaimed water in the future, something that will be even more important for our community if the Colorado River supply is reduced.
In the short term, of course, it's possible to go back to the groundwater that we relied upon in the past and satisfy people's water needs using groundwater in the southern Arizona area. I don't think that's a real long-term solution if in fact we have a built-in shortage that we haven't accounted for in the Colorado. And I think it's very likely we're going to be more and more reliant on waters of impaired initial quality in the future. And I would count among those wastewater.
Most projections indicate that the current population of about 1 million will increase, if not double, but certainly increase by a factor of over 50%, 70%. And of course, our ability to reclaim and reuse water is central to the sustainability of future water supply under those kinds of population growth projections.
It's almost certain that in southern Arizona we're going to be reclaiming wastewater, and that reclaimed water is going to become a part of our water supply.
As the use of reclaimed water is expanded, experts stress the importance of understanding the related issues and challenges.
It's not just the financial cost. We need to think about the social aspects of it. We need to think about the environmental aspects of this. What are the implications for public health? What are the implications for quality of life, for having water in parks and riparian areas and so forth that may never come back into our taps as water supply? And so that, these are the kinds of choices and trade-offs I think that the community needs to be prepared for.
Water moves into and out of the Tucson area making a stop at your house. Let's take a tour of the Tucson area water cycle. 60% of our water comes from the Colorado River via the Central Arizona Project Canal. When CAP water reaches the Tucson area, it is first added to the groundwater in large infiltration basins in Avra Valley. This is Tucson's largest set of infiltration basins, the Clearwater Storage and Recovery Facility. When CAP water reaches the aquifer, it commingles with native groundwater, and the blended water is pumped back to the surface. Our next stop is at the Hayden-Udall Water Treatment Plant, where the recovered water is chlorinated before it is distributed to Tucson's businesses and homes. More than 60 million gallons per day, or about 60% of the water we use, ends up in the county's sewer system. This water is sent to 2 major wastewater treatment facilities that are located alongside the Santa Cruz River, near Ina and Roger Roads, and operated by Pima County. As things stand, about 22% of the treated wastewater receives additional treatment at the City of Tucson's Water Reclamation Facility. Most of this reclaimed water irrigates golf courses, parks, and about 750 homes use it for landscape irrigation.
Very substantial part of our water supply that we go to incredible lengths and incredible cost and a lot of engineering ingenuity and technology and so forth to supply to the community is used for outdoor landscaping. And so our landscaping choices are fundamental to the way we use water.
The rest is discharged into the Santa Cruz River. Treated wastewater is the only water flowing in the Santa Cruz River year-round. Most of this water seeps into the riverbed northwest of Tucson and ultimately replenishes the regional groundwater aquifer. Just how to reuse this water in the future is the responsibility of regional water planners. As the water travels via the Santa Cruz River to the northwest, it completes the journey of the city's water supply. Tucson has a history of dedicated conservation efforts, yet researchers believe a sustainable future will depend on even greater recharge and reuse methods. This graph illustrates past and projected water demand and supply in the Tucson area. You can see that current demand is approaching 120 billion gallons of water per year. Sources of our water supply include the renewable groundwater, which is groundwater that is replaced every year by natural processes. 20 years ago, this was Tucson's sole source of water. However, this supply can now satisfy only 15% of our total demand. Our primary water source is the Colorado River. Despite the uncertainties about future availability, the Colorado is counted on to provide up to 60% of our region's demand for water. The water balance shows that up to 25% of our future water needs must be satisfied by a combination of conservation measures and water reuse. This will require Tucson to expand its use of reclaimed wastewater significantly, or to find an additional water resource in the near future. To meet increasingly stringent water quality requirements and make treated wastewater more flexible for reuse applications, Pima County has initiated a construction program described by its Regional Optimization Master Plan, or ROMP. Ongoing and planned construction under ROMP will provide state-of-the-art wastewater treatment at both Ina Road and Roger Road treatment plants, improve water quality in the Santa Cruz River, satisfy at least part of its energy requirements from renewable sources, provide a focal point for advanced water research. This community investment in water quality is projected to cost over $700 million. The work will be completed in 2015. In summary, we will almost certainly continue to depend on the Colorado River to satisfy much of our regional water demand. To allow for growth, we must continue to examine the adequacy of our water supply and plan for the future. To that end, there is an ongoing study among the city, county, and the University of Arizona to identify and improve sustainable water technologies.
Tucson, as any large city in a water-scarce environment, of course has an extended and a fairly involved planning process to make sure that water supplies for current needs and for future needs are met. We wouldn't be here today if there hadn't been planning that had gone on in the past, and the planning we're undertaking today, of course, will assure the future water supply in southern Arizona.
Best ways to utilize reclaimed water for a sustainable future requires complex decision-making problems under uncertainty. So what are these uncertainties? We don't know what the demand population is going to be. We don't know what potential changes in the climate might lead to water supply issues in the future.
The role that the university has played with the city water utility, Tucson Water, and the Pima County wastewater is to actually understand those long-term sets of factors that influence both the amount of water, the volume of water we'll need, but also more critically the spatial distribution across these growth areas and the current population center of Tucson that we'll actually need.
The University of Arizona is collaborating with the city and the county, and we're meeting every week to figure out what possible future scenarios could affect our decision-making process and to figure out the best ways to utilize reclaimed water so that we will be able to live in a sustainable manner for years to come.
Through community cooperation, Tucson and all of Arizona will continue to find ways to satisfy water demand for decades to come. But this effort requires innovative new ideas, teamwork, and constant adaptation as we learn more about future water demands and water availability issues in the arid Southwest.